How can a photograph tell a story? I took this photo some time ago for my stock portfolio, and while it didn't perform exceedingly well, I found it intriguing in its kind of narrative still life style. I want to try create a similar photo, and see if I can figure out what's behind a good, story-driven, still life image. All the pictures in this video will be done with a Fujifilm digital camera and a vintage Nikon 55mm macro lens. Alright, this is our blank canvas. I'm going to start with some books. Having some titles showing seems like an easy way, almost cheating even, to add some interest and direct communication with the viewer. Now, a vintage camera. Clearly, this is the main character. I'm already really happy with how the colors of the books match the camera. Now how about a bright yellow roll of film for some contrast? A lens ball slightly blocking the titles of the books, challenging the viewer to look closer. How about some developed film in a vintage Kodak canister? Finally, a strip of film to break up the bright surface of the table. The deadpan straight-on angle gives the camera a certain imposing presence. But if we try a slightly elevated angle, it subdues the elements. Now it feels like we've just stumbled upon this frame and had a moment of discovery. Are these the contents of an old photographer's camera bag? What memories has this camera seen? Why was this roll of film never used? A quick tip, I like shooting these with a pretty closed down aperture, about f8 to f11, to get everything in nice focus, then a slower shutter speed to make up the exposure. A handheld light can be swept across the frame as the shutter is open to get a nice even lighting. While this composition is interesting, it seems a bit academic. Let's try something crazier. I'm going to get rid of one of the photography books and add a book titled Desert Survival Handbook. Line up this lens ball for a nice diagonal line, tidy everything up a bit. I honestly don't know where I'm going with this, but I like the desert and photography idea combined. So I'm going to use a painting as a background to look like a dusty, hazy sky. I want to put a cactus in the background to keep this desert theme going. I could paint one, but instead I'm just going to print a photograph and cut it out. There we go, we have our cactus. I'm going to glue some cotton balls in the corner here to create a cloud and balance the composition a little bit. I did an edit to bring everything together and added some fade for a vintage, dreamlike feel. I had no idea where I was going when this started, but I think I see a story emerging. The viewer enters the frame at the top left, descending through the cloud to a dream world landscape. The camera is in the center, perhaps a stand-in for the photographer themselves. The film in the canister looks like an overfilled trash can. The lens ball suggests an altered perspective, a distortion of time. The book, The Photographer's Eye, implies a story told through a specific, perhaps artistic perspective. Desert Survival Manual, a metaphor. This photo might be about emotional survival, isolation, or resilience in a creative desert. Are these the ideas the photographer rejected, and perhaps these are the ones never realized? In the end, a still life is more than just objects arranged in a frame. It's a quiet conversation between memory, meaning, and a healthy dose of the viewer's imagination. While I didn't have an exact story in mind, I chose these objects with intention and exploration, and it turned a simple composition into a narrative. Whether it's nostalgia, mystery, or a personal truth, the story you tell with still life doesn't need words. It only needs light, space, and the courage to let your objects speak. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more videos on photography, make sure you're subscribed. Until next time.